Alright, so I'm going to talk about the adjustment for your shocks. So in here I have some Ohlins. So let's look at the manual here. So this is, obviously the Ohlins is on my Monkey here. So that's what it is, HO 819 Honda Monkey. Alright, Honda Monkey right there. So let's look at the adjustments here real fast. So obviously the knob on the top of the shock there, so that's this knob up here, or on the reservoir I should say, so this knob right here, and that's the compression. Okay, so that's the compression knob right there, and the knob on the bottom here, this knob here, that's the rebound knob. Then obviously this ring here, that's the preload, and the shocks come with this tool here, this little wrench. It looks like an Allen wrench, but it's round. See how it's round? So it's round all throughout. So basically you stick it into this little holes all along that ring, stick it in there, and that's how you turn it. You turn the your preload adjuster. And when you adjust the preload, make sure you take weight off the bike. When there's weight pushing down on this thing, it makes it harder. So take weight off of it. Right now my shock is brand new, so I don't have to worry about the dirt in the threads. So if you're riding around and it's really dirty and such, I suggest you clean up the threads. And the best way to clean up the threads is with a toothbrush and like some Simple Green. Spray some Simple Green up on here, let it soak for a few minutes, and then spray a little bit more. Toothbrush it with use a toothbrush, brush as much as you can off the threads. Then rinse it off with water and let it dry, and then then it should be clean enough to clean this out. And you don't want to oil the threads either, because when you oil the thread, that attracts dirt, so it makes it even worse. So don't do that. Okay. So let's look at the adjustment here. So the Ohlins, the cool thing about Ohlins is that usually when you get the shocks, they come kind of basically preset for you. So this is here, they tell you how for example, the length here, 334, basically 335 millimeters. That's the eye to eye. So this right here is the eyelet from the bottom to the top. So that's the length of the eyelet, right? So let's just call it that, 335, 334, 335. That's close enough. And the stroke of the shock, so this stroke here is 93 millimeters. So I measured about 92. I think I measured about 92, but that's just eyeballing with my tape measure. Tape measure is not the most accurate thing, but my tape measure is, it has millimeters on one side and inches on the other side. So I measured about 92. So this, I trust the Ohlins sheet a little bit more, but I'm gonna work off my reference will be off of my measure tape. Then the other thing is, right, compression adjusted 12 clicks and rebound adjusted 16 clicks. So whenever they talk about how many clicks there is, they're referring to how many clicks from close. So for example, on the compression here, if you look closely, you see H for hard and S for soft. So that's so when you go hard or clockwise, that you're closing up the valve, right? You close off the valve all the way. So you'll count from there, from all the way close. So it's all the way closed now. I can't turn it anymore. I'm gonna turn it back, and it's not even a click. The all the way close is not even a click. So I'm gonna turn it back because I know it's not a click, because from this click to this click here, these two clicks, I look at how much the knob spins, and from the last click to close, all the way close, it doesn't spin as much. So from basically from all the way close, you go to that first click. So that's where you start. Okay. So that's the first one. So you count from there. You count how many clicks basically. So that first indent right there, that's basically 0. Okay. So from there, and this setup says compression is 12 clicks. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So normally when you get the Ohlins, it comes adjusted, but I'm just showing you as a reference, where the starting point is. Same with the bottom. The bottom is the bottom is 16 clicks. So let's see. The bottom always confuses me on which way is actually closed. I believe turning it in that direction is closed, if I can remember right. Jeez, now I can't remember right. Actually, let me just spin it and see how many clicks there is. Actually, let's look at how many clicks there is here. This was 12 clicks. Let's see how many it could go all the way till it's fully open. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22. So 22 clicks. And you always, if you need to adjust somewhere, wherever, always go back to 0. 0, then adjust back out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's 12. So this one, it should have been adjusted at 16 clicks. So I'm gonna spin it. I'm gonna spin it from our point of view. Looking at the camera's point of view. I'm gonna spin it. If I was looking down from the top, I'm gonna spin it counterclockwise. Let's see how many clicks it has. Oh. So this is a lot firmer, and then each click is not very. It's not far from each other either. So it got 19 clicks from there. So I think that's to soften it, not to close it. 19 clicks from there. Okay, I think that should be back how it was originally. And spin it the other way. There should be 16 clicks. Oh, no more clicks. Okay, so that's actually opening it up. Oh, I can see the O-rings right here. So that's actually opening it even more. I can actually see the O-ring and such right there. So that's actually opening it up more. So I think that's actually the opening this thing down this way, basically unscrewing this. Basically, if you look at it, is I believe softer than. I swear the bottom knob always confuses me. So that's all the way. I can't turn it anymore. From looking from this direction, looking down. I'm turning it from looking down this way. I'm turning it counterclockwise. I can't turn it anymore, so I'm gonna go to the first click. So the first click, which is all the way, is also a click. It feels. Let's see the movement. Yeah, that's the same amount of movement. So all the way close is basically the first click then. So or I should say 0. Let's call that 0. So I could turn it back out. Let's say to 16 then. 16 clicks to what the paper says. Oops. Man, I can barely feel some of those clicks. It's not as obvious as the compression knob. Okay, that's 16 clicks right there. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna write it. And you don't know until you write it, and obviously you should check both sides to make sure that they're both the same setting. All right, so that's rebound. as far as rebound and compression, when you set it as is for that, ride it, see how it feels, and each time you do make a change, just do one click at a time, just one click, and that's it. Don't do any other changes whatsoever. One click on each side. Doesn't matter which direction, you need, clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever, and ride it around. Ride around for that. And when you ride it, you should ride a given route where you're very familiar with, so you know where everything is, so you know what to expect, and you know how it feels. So you have your initial setting. Ride that, pay attention to how it feels, and ride it maybe more than once. Ride it several times. Just pay attention to how it feels. Then each time you do one click on both sides, the same direction and stuff. One click on both sides. Ride the same route again. Don't do any other adjustment. No, don't touch nothing else basically. And ride around. See if it got softer or firmer, or basically see if it rides smoother. Is the point. And if you're not sure, initially, if you're not sure which way to turn, one way or the other, how I do it is, this thing had, how many clicks did it have? Shit, I can't remember how many clicks it had. But whatever, how many clicks it had. Let's say it had 20 clicks. I think this one had like 20 clicks. So let's say it had 20 clicks only. All right. So if it has 20 clicks only, you might start off at the middle and use that as a reference. Let's say you don't even have the paper. You don't even know what it is. Just start at the middle. Use that as a reference. So if altogether it has 20 clicks, start at the middle, meaning 10 clicks. All right. You start at the middle. Let's say this is the 10 click. My 1 and 20, so that would be 10. So at the 10 click, see how that feels, and without any other adjustments, only adjust one knob at a time basically. Let's say you adjust here, adjust it from the middle to halfway from the middle to the end. So basically from this is 1, that would be 10, that would be 20. You go 10 to 15. To turn it to 15. Then ride it around and see how that feels compared to the middle one, to the middle amount of clicks. Then from there, turn it to 5 and compare that. Then if you compare the two mid sections, halfway, quarter sections, I should say, quarter of the full turn to 3/4 of full turn of all the turns. Compare those to the middle level of clicks, turns. See which way is smoother. Is it this way here smoother or this way smoother? So that's where you want to focus your adjustment. So let's say you initially started at the middle. Okay, I know how it feels. Then if I turn it to this way, it's like, oh, it's a little bit bumpier now, or rougher, I should say. Not as smooth. But if I turn it to this way, it's smoother, or it feels, at least this way feels smoother than going this way. So that's when if this way feels smoother than going this way, then I would figure out my clicks between here. So I might go back to 10 again, then slowly one click at a time, ride my course, then another click, and so on and so forth. So that's probably the best way to do it. I know it's kind of tedious and it takes a long time, but that's how you really dial in suspension. At least that's how I do it, and it works. But it takes a long time. It takes a lot of riding, which actually that's a good thing. You ride, the more you ride, the funnier it is, right? Okay, so that's adjusting the valving. So preload wise, adjusting preload. This thing was, the measurement that Ohlins gave is 33. You see, 334, or basically 334 or 335. Here I have it measured at. Let's see if I could, as close as I can. I have it measured out at 334. So 334, on my little thing here. And I know, and Ohlins says this stroker here is 93, but I measured out, I think, 92. So that's your relation right there. So later on, you measure your eye to eye, from the top eye to the bottom eye. Top eye to bottom eye. When you sit on it, with you fully geared up, whatever you wear while you're riding, with your helmet on and everything like that. You sit on it. This is best. This way you have a buddy. Have your buddy measure the eye to eye once you sit on it, and and get it upright and get your feet off as best you can, and as if you were riding the bike. It might be even better with 3 people. So if you sit on it completely how you would be riding the bike, the second person will be holding the bike upright. Then the third person will measure the eye to eye, top to bottom. The eye to eye there, top to bottom. Right, eye to eye, top to bottom. So you look at that relation to what the original fully extended eye to eye is, and you look at the difference there. So let's say the stock Ohlins was, what was it? It was 334. I measured 334, and if I sit on it when I'm fully geared up, it's gonna go down to let's say 300. Let's say it goes down to 300. So 334 to 300. That's basically 34 millimeters that is squatted down. So if you look at this length here, this was what I measured. What was it? 92. Ohlins says 93, but I measured 92. So since I'm using my scale here as a reference point, you stick to one thing. Don't switch around. Otherwise, you lose consistency. So I'm using this right here. So my thing says 92 here. So if you lose 34 out of 92, what is the percentage? 34 out of 92, right? So you look at the percentage. What your target is as far as the how much sag you would have. And to adjust the preload here, is the target is about 30%. So basically, if I measure 92 here, 30% of 92 is how much? It's not quite 30, because 30 would be, if this was 100 millimeters, 30 millimeters would be 30% obviously, but this is 92 millimeters, so 30 would be 30% would be obviously less than 30 millimeters. So my initial setting, whatever it was, let's say it sagged down from 334 to 300. That means it moved 34 millimeters. So that's 34 millimeters out of 90. That's more than 30%. So that means my sag is too soft, and I would have to tighten this down a little bit. Basically, put more preload on here, so that way it doesn't sag as much when you sit on it. So that's how you figure it out. So I usually target about 30%. You could go a bit. I wouldn't go more than 30%, unless you have like some really long travel, dirt bike. You might be able to get away with a little bit more than 30%, but usually 30% is good. Or you might even go slightly firmer than 30%. You might go to like 25%, hell, even 20% maybe. 20% is probably about as much as firm as I would make it. If your spring rate is proper to your riding weight, your body weight, riding weight, when you have fully geared on, then that 30% should be good. Let's say if your spring rate is softer than it's a little bit softer than your body weight, what it was meant for. Like for example, these springs here are meant for under 80 kilograms. 80 kilograms is, what is it? I think it's like 175 or something like that. So my body weight, fully geared up, I'm about 160. So this spring weight is possibly a little bit firmer than my body weight. So since that case, it's a little bit firmer. It'd be better for me to be at 30% sag. Right, to have sag at 30%, or closer to 30%, than it would be to say at 20% sag. Because the spring rates are meant for 175 pound rider. Let's say I'm a 180 pound rider, and if I didn't have the extra springs, this was the only spring option that was available, and you're 180 pounds and this thing is 175 pounds, that means you would set the sag more than 30% or excuse me, less than 30% sag, you would set it to like maybe only 25% sag. So basically, you're making it even firmer because you're a little bit on the heavy side. So that's how you set up suspension, and setting the sag. You know, when you set the initial sag, if you set it properly, once you have it set it properly, you never have to touch the sag again. So that's a good thing about sag. And this bike is only one rider, so you don't have to worry about having riding a passenger. If you had a bike where you had a passenger as well, then you had, each time you change the weight, you have to change the preload for it to work properly. So yeah, so that's basically how you figure out how to change your settings and your adjustments. Okay, so that's it. So hopefully that wasn't too long. Well, that wasn't too long. I only yak for about 20 minutes. All right, thanks for watching.